What's good, people? We are the Blasian Circle, 3 married couples made up of 6 friends who share in the experience of being in Black and South Asian interracial marriages.
It's a circle of unity and trust where we share our thoughts and lived experiences. Come join our circle.
Cool.
Yes.
Welcome.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome, everyone.
Circle.
Blasian Circle.
Yes.
Nice
Yep.
to be here again. Cool. So today we are going to have a quick introduction into 2 of our beloved members.
Yes,
indeed.
Sai and Riz.
You're doing. Go on, vote it. Go on.
I was going to say actually what Anna said. What a time to be alive.
What a
Yes.
time. Yeah.
I was like, when did I say that?
I can't remember. That's okay. That doesn't sound like me.
You did say it. Yes.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
I was just trying. Anyway.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So let's get into it. Let's find out a bit more about you guys,
Who
how
are
you guys
you?
met and so on.
Team Cyrus.
That's it. Ready?
Yeah, man.
Okay. Let's go to the
Yeah.
let's go
So-
to the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
How did
how-
it start?
yeah,
Where
yeah.
did you guys meet?
Yeah, how did this journey begin?
So once upon a time,
Go on.
in a far, far away land in Canterbury. I'm just taking the piss.
What do you want me to tell it, or
Suppose.
I want you to tell it? We've got both different.
Oh, okay.
I love that.
Perspective.
I love
Let's-
every-
It's always the way.
Yeah.
Let's do Riz
That's
first then.
important.
Riz,
Ladies first.
come,
Yeah.
tell us.
Yeah, go on, Riz.
Sai's going to go into so many details.
will.
I'm going to give the short version of
Yeah.
the long story.
Yeah.
But how did we meet? We met in Canterbury, which is Kent. Very beautiful if you haven't been. And
Visit
we
Canterbury.
Yes.
Link below.
We'll put it in the link below. It's got the cathedral, so you might.
This is being
enjoy it.
sponsored by Canterbury Council. It's not
Get in
really.
touch,
It's
guys.
not really.
Oh,
Come on.
really is it?
But essentially, we met at campus, on campus, plus studying the same course.
At university.
Yes,
Yeah.
at university. University of the Creative Arts. They had many branches. We went to the one in Canterbury and we studied architecture.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I think on my first time to Canterbury, I went with my granddad at the time and my younger brother. I moved all my stuff to halls. Anyway, I realised Sai and I were sharing the same in the same accommodation. We lived together, not by choice. And then we also studied the same course. We had the same circle of friends. The first year of living together was tough. Because
Wait, when you say living together, do you mean you share
on
the
campus?
same
On
space?
Yeah, so we had our own
Shout
rooms.
out David Wood. I think that was his name.
No, I don't think his name was Wood, was
It
it?
was definitely David. He
Oh,
put
okay.
us together.
Probably
Any
sounds
David
like
out there.
any
Any David out there, we
Yeah, exactly.
appreciate you.
He's an unknown matchmaker.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
There was
guy.
actually 3 of us. It was myself, Sai, and a Chinese lady. I've forgotten her name.
Aroma.
Aroma, yes.
Yeah.
So it's
Big
3
up
of us
Aroma.
sharing the same flat accommodation. Aroma kind
Do
of...
you remember, Riz, the moment you met Sai? Do you
Yeah.
remember what your first impressions were of him?
Yes, it was...
Yeah, the first impression, that's a good question.
Yeah, it was actually when I was moving all my stuff on that very first day.
Very much so.
Sai and his mum was there, and he was also moving his stuff. And bearing in mind, I didn't have any black friends and had a very stereotypical view of black people.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, I think I did. Saw you guys as a threat. But yeah, I remember just thinking, oh, look at this tall, skinny guy. What's he all about?
Yeah.
But you were really out there and just loud, and I was
On
like,
the first day.
I could see it in your presence, in your tone, and how you were. Your mum was really lovely. She was really nice. I remember the first impressions. I don't really remember thinking much of you.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was just like I just wanted to move my stuff. I had so much stuff. I was really hot, and I just needed to.
Yeah.
So how did it go from living in halls to...
Oh wait, hang on.
Oh, sorry, have I jumped
Just
it?
my version of it.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
Just quickly.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
September the 8th.
Uh-oh.
Friday, September the 8th, 2008.
Look at that.
Oh yeah, I remember very, very well seeing this girl in her pajamas moving stuff And every single time there was series of doors that we would get into. And the first thing I thought, oh yeah, she's okay. I'll be honest, that's what I thought. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, she's okay. I wonder where the paintings at. Yeah, I was 18. All right, so give me a break.
It's a big
right?
deal. Yeah.
I was like, yo, moving away from home. It was like,
Man, I was on a similar vibe. Man.
yeah, exactly. And so
Or later on, really.
there was
For those of you who could not see off camera, Anna's face was very funny.
Later in uni, I was on similar vibe.
there were a series of doors that we had to like go through to before, and actually each door I kept on realizing, okay, so one door's being held by this girl's luggage, this other door's being held by his luggage. Hey, wait, we're the same flat. This flat door is being held by her luggage too. Oh my gosh, we're going to be flatmates. And it was quite quick because I actually had to go back to London that day. But I do remember seeing Riz in pajamas on that day and just thinking, oh yeah, cool. All right, so I'm going to be living with this girl. And so this is one of the girls. And then there's another girl I'm going to be living with. She's Chinese. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be getting Indian food and Chinese food. That's actually just pretty much all I thought. So,
And did you get both food?
Yes, I did. And the way I got the Indian/Pakistani food was quite. Yeah, we'll go into that later. But the Chinese food was pretty. It's pretty amazing, even though it was short-lived. Yeah. Anyway, next question.
Yeah. So how did it go from that to, well, not necessarily where we are today, because that's quite a long journey.
Yeah.
But kind of what was when did you first realize, actually, do you know what, I quite like him?
When did you start catching feelings?
Yeah.
There's a big,
That's the word, catching feelings.
There's a big story before that.
Oh, is there? Sorry. Okay.
Why don't you take us a journey?
You've jumped quick.
Where did I jump?
No. It's not that you just don't know. You just don't know.
Then please fill us in.
I think the question is, how did things progress? How did you
Yeah.
go from strangers to just even acquaintances and then a friendship?
Yeah, that was
the journey.
Who wants to go first?
Yeah, I think that was a journey. In a nutshell, we were placed together, no choice at all, studied together, same circle of friends. So we were going to be friends, I suppose, at one point, regardless. But it was a challenge because we bumped heads a lot living together.
Yeah.
Frenemy number one.
Yeah. So because we had the same common friends, I would go to one of my male friends and say, look, oh God, he's doing this. And then he would basically be the middle guy between us. One time, I think he broke up a disagreement between us.
No, let's tell the story.
Yes, please.
Let's tell the story.
Please.
So
Yeah, but I think the disclaimer is I was a completely different person.
it's okay. Don't worry. No
Back
judgment. No judgment. No judgment. No
People
judgment.
do
No
grow.
judgment.
Listen, this was like
No
10 years
judgment.
ago, man. We've
No,
all- we've all
12
12
years
years ago. Gosh, 12 years ago.
All right, so, my student loan hasn't dropped yet. Right? So I'm a little bit, things are a little bit tough,
Tight.
a little bit tight. There's only so much money my mum can give me as well. So I think we agreed that we're going to share things within the house, items, and pay for them. So quite early on. And I think we had run out of air freshener or bleach.
Bleach.
We had run out of bleach.
Yeah.
And I at that time, if you know, I make music, obviously. And even back then I used to like make beats quite a lot. And I think I was just in my room just making beats or something like that. And so we ran out. And this young lady comes to my dorm door and is like, so I know you're poor right now, but are you going to replace this? Are you going to replace?
If that was the disclaimer, by the way, Riz, you would absolutely say that today.
This is it.
No, but
Even
he
more
tells
so.
he
Even
tells the
more
story
so.
different. I was happy to get the stuff because I know so I actually said to him, "Don't worry, I've got it. I know you're." What he said. I didn't say like, come on. I didn't say cough up and go get the stuff.
Yeah. And the thing is I just heard, I know you're poor right now. To this day, all I heard is, I know you're poor right now.
And
And
that
I'm
was
like,
it. Red light.
I'm like,
The monster came out.
I'm a man. Don't talk to me like that.
But at that point, I was petrified. I was like, black man in the flat. I was like, this has never happened to me before. I actually remember the emotions that was going through me. I felt I felt fear. I felt like worry. And I was thankful that one of our male friends was there. Honest to God, I was so thankful
That's
because
so
he
dope.
handled it so well.
Who was a black man as well.
But he
Okay.
was very sweet. And he would just,
Very calm.
He just, what's the thing? He
diffused.
de-escalate
he
things.
diffused
yeah.
everything, so it didn't escalate any
Yeah.
further. And then he told you to calm down and
Yeah,
leave it. And then
yeah,
I
yeah.
went with him.
Yeah.
But honest to God, if he wasn't there, I'll be like probably crying.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
not? Did you recognize that? Oh, I just called someone poor, and like that's
Yeah.
probably not gonna.
Yeah,
mean
the
a
choice
nice
of words were
conversation.
wrong. I shouldn't have spoken in that way. But at that time, it left. At the time, it left. It rolled off the tongue.
Yeah.
I
Oh, okay,
couldn't
okay,
take
okay,
it
okay.
back.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
he just went, got
He went
Godzilla.
red.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
what happened after that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
how did-
so we took a long time before we came to the point of friendship. Very long time. That set something in stone, and we just didn't. And it's funny because obviously, initially, sorry to just put this as this, Riz was hanging out with like a lot of the white guys at uni or white guys and girls, yeah. And then slowly, as like she, kind of became more affiliated with us young black guys, more London clique as well. And so
It was really nice, I have to say. Like with the white people, it was not because of choice. It's because I didn't know much of you guys.
Yeah.
But I felt really out of place with the white people. Just I didn't connect with them. Like it was dumb stuff. Like they'd eat chili or like hardly any chili. They'd be like, "Oh my God, my lip is burning," and like they'd be drinking all the time. And I realized wine makes your lips purple or something or whatever. But the drinking culture was so big. And, I mean, I'm there with my cranberry juice.
Yeah.
And I felt really, and it's just like I remembered all the dumb stuff they said, and I think a lot of it I had to fake being part of it.
Culture,
but when
yeah.
I got connected with you guys, I felt freedom. I felt like you're
could be
more our
yourself.
people,
Yeah.
like with food's important community,
Up now.
click. Yeah, and also
Well
like, it was
done,
very
Sai.
God-centered. It was God-centered, like, but it wasn't like down your throat.
Yeah.
Like our side was
never.
very good, Lath was good, and I shouldn't probably name stuff.
No, it's
Yeah.
alright. We're all friends, innit? But like, yeah, there was a group of us, and we were mixed of like Christian boys and Muslim boys, like all black males, and our faith was important to all of us, like generally, and kind of our families and etc. and things like that. And that's how we represented. And I think that Riz and other like as well South Asian girls and other black girls and etc. and like we were all sorry to use the word that you don't like, it was all platonic, but we all just gravitated towards one another because we were in this is 2008 as well, like so it still wasn't really, there wasn't loads of black people going to uni in Canterbury and etc. So we just found, especially our uni, it was and as an art uni, we just found camaraderie and just friendship amongst one another. But yeah, for Riz and I, we didn't. So while obviously we were both making friends within this friendship group, we were still kind of separated from one another, despite the fact that we lived in the same house. And so some more things kind of like small things just kind of happening. So Riz, this is really funny to me to this day, but Riz would speak on the phone to her family, and she would speak Punjabi, but I realized whenever she could hear that I was about, she would just go quiet. So acha, 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 and then it's like yo, why is this girl whispering every time?
What's all this?
And etc. And she would usually speak to them on the phone. At that time though, we had a house phone in the flat as well, and my mum would always, and my friends would always, I had two particular friends that would always phone the house phone in our flat, and then my mum would phone the house phone, and every once in a while Riz would pick up. So from there she started sort of developing a bit of a relationship with my mum, sort of, and she's like, and I'll be cussing off Riz to my mum, be like, this girl, man, but unknown to me, or
so
what I would find out later on,
Yeah.
is in Punjabi, Riz was cussing me off to her family, particularly her older sister. So then one day, her older sister came to visit, and there's a funny story actually before this. I think I have to say that. So I was talking about the food.
Yeah.
I'll get Chinese food from Aroma, Indian food from Riz. The Indian food I would get from Riz was actually never really offered to me until we became friends. So there was a bit. Riz, you tell the story. December 2008.
I didn't realise it was in December.
I think so, because you're going home for Christmas or something.
Yeah, I was going home. I didn't go home as often because Canterbury is quite far and it's expensive. But yeah, I remember going home, getting my suitcase and going home. And also when I would go home, I would get more food because my mum would make it in batches. But on the way to the train station, I must have forgotten something. Anyway, so I came back and I went to the kitchen to go get what I needed, and like my mum's food, there was brown rice, there was salan, there was yellow rice. Like my mum proper like spoilt me like when she gave me her food, and all the containers were laid out, like lids were open. It was like the pans were there,
Like a buffet.
and I'm like,
Sigh.
and it was like every container was open, and it was like the yellow rice. Like, come on, that's like a tree.
That's like Zarda.
Yeah.
Sam, you know what
That's
Zarda's
a
about.
tree.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this guy's greedy. He's selfish. Like, I literally left. It was like in a space of 5 minutes. He literally went in the fridge, opened every tub, lids were off, ready to cook this thing. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, he didn't even ask me. So I put the lids back on. I put it back in the fridge. I never talked to him.
No, I don't think that's what happened, because
Yeah,
I think I was away.
You
And then
left the kitchen. You went in your bedroom.
or
So when
something.
I came into the kitchen, I saw that and I thought, what the hell? So instead of communicating to you what the hell, I just put the lids back on and put it back in the fridge.
I thought I
as a
came
way to indicate, like, get off my
cool.
food.
Yeah.
For some
Because
reason,
it was very confrontational. I didn't want to go into another conversation.
yeah,
And I had my trade to catch and then I just left.
for some reason, I visualize me seeing all of that, and then, or seeing you come back and seeing it and be like, oh.
No, you weren't. You actually weren't in the kitchen. You weren't in the kitchen.
Okay, fair
You'd
enough.
gone
I
in
thought,
your room.
So now you've had a fight. You're frenemies.
Yeah.
You've stolen her food.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, how?
All right, so one of the main changing points. So what I was coming to next is her sister came to visit.
Oh, okay.
All right. And when her sister came to visit, herself just like quickly, just to, there was one day me and her sister were having breakfast with one another, just like talking and eating. And we were getting on really, really well. And I think Riz came into like the kitchen and saw that and was like, what the hell? Like, what are these guys doing? Sort of like friending up towards one another. Like, how can...
Yeah, it was like, why are you eating your cornflakes with this guy? He's the enemy.
Yeah. And vice versa, as I was saying, what was I going to say? My mum, obviously, was like, oh, she's not that bad. Come on, like, so I think our families, strangely enough, kind of made us see a little bit more,
Right.
You see each other more objectively.
in a more objective and a positive light.
way.
But then for me, there was one main like triggering point that was like, okay, like, this, this relationship has to change. And I went to a campus church up in Canterbury that I used to go to. It's called New Life. Shout out New Life. And I remember the pastor there, Pastor Aaron, was preaching about kind of, I can't even remember fully the message, but I remember particularly he was talking about having hostility with yourself and your housemates over washing dishes and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's my life. And then,
Speaking to me.
Exactly. And then and I just remember praying about the relationship and praying that, look, I pray, Lord, that this relationship changes and that we're not enemies anymore, that there's peace between us and etc. And this is like early Riz was not even looking into different faiths or anything along those lines. I was just praying about this. And slowly the relationship, so I don't know, I think that was about March 2009. Slowly relationships started changing by the point like we started developing a friendship, started getting on, like the friendships around us, like started actually pulling us more together and etc. And by about May 2009, we were literally in each other's pockets, man. We were like,
wow.
yeah, this woman like was one of this is my first best female friend that I'd ever had in my life. It was just like, yo, this is actually my friend. Like we would, like, I think it was quite helpful. Me, you, and our other neighbor friend, like Asad. He, like the three of us were like a trio, man. We became a proper like little trio. We would watch, because a lot of the London lot would go home at the weekend.
Yeah.
The three of us would stay and we would watch films
something.
together. Like we'd talk about work, we'll eat food together. The
Yeah,
three
that
of
was
us,
fun.
yeah. We got on really, really well. And so I think that started transitioning to the point by, as I said, May 2009, Riz was like asking my mum to, oh, can I come over and visit you guys? And I was like,
Wow.
what? By that point, 2009 when I was like, I'm not even 19 yet. I had never actually, I don't even think I had ever had a girl like visit our home. Yeah, it's just like, what are you gonna have? And she asked as well, is it possible I could come and stay? Just come and like,
I actually can't remember that. But
No, it
now,
was-
if I psychologically think about it, I went to university, which was a complete different change for me, and I came from Berkshire. And in Berkshire, it's like 99% populated with Asians, predominantly most of them are Muslims. And it was like growing up in a village and you're in a balloon. And the first experience I had of the outside world was really Canterbury. So understanding black people and the culture was a whole new experience. I then, in that same year of 2009,
what, despite the fact that you went to college, art
yeah,
college,
but it was all white people.
but there was one or two black girls there, weren't there?
There was no black girl at all.
Okay.
There was one black guy, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's one, isn't it?
But yeah, so that was a real experience. And then I'd also gone to study trips that year, which I'd only ever gone to Pakistan. I'd only ever left to go to Pakistan before I'd gone to university. So
But
I didn't
even
have
that
much.
was as a baby, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it wasn't really a holiday. So if I psychologically think about why I asked your mum, oh, can I come over? I think it was like, oh my God, it's this whole other world that I never tapped into. Wow. And I really was kind of envious that you guys grew up in London because it's like so many opportunities, so much mix. So when I think I came from a very big family and it was very crowded and I just didn't want to go back home. So once I had that experience of my own place, like my own room,
That's a
all
lot.
these fun
Yeah.
people, like if I go back home to Berkshire, there's nothing even to come back to say, oh, how did you spend your weekend? Or what did you do? There'd be nothing I could share. What could I say? So for me, it was like I wanted to go because I wanted to escape also from my home.
Okay, interesting.
That's really interesting.
Makes a
So
lot of sense.
then what then happened? Like, so, you know, you both started to get along really well and
Yeah.
you're like, okay, that you developed a friendship. What made you think, or am I skipping a beat when I say,
No,
what,
no,
what,
no,
what
no.
was it, what was
We can
like the
skip.
boyfriend girlfriend thing?
Okay, we can skip. So it wasn't until about second year, and it was funny. Riz actually went to Ghana
Oh, yeah.
before second year. She went to Ghana despite the fact that she thought I was Ugandan, because every black guy on our campus was Ugandan.
Okay.
But she went obviously to my home nation. Went to Ghana.
That's really cool.
And in her going to Ghana, she actually met my grandma, didn't you? You met my grandma.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Years later, my grandma thought Riz was trying to come and do come and pay dowry to her. Exactly. Like, did this girl come here for you to just...
Well, she wasn't too far off, mate.
not
Hey,
to-
hey, you know?
But yeah, I think in
That's
you...
amazing.
I think in you going Ghana, that kind of built up your confidence a little bit.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It was part of a charity under UNICEF, and it was a government-funded program where you'd select 3 countries you wanted to go and do support in.
Yeah.
Ghana is actually my third option. My
Okay.
first was Tanzania.
Oh, yes. it was.
And I actually can't remember my second one, but I remember Ghana I put as my last option. But all of the others had been filled up, and they said, look, the only one we've got if you want to go this summer is Ghana.
Providence.
So
It's
yeah.
meant to be, guys.
Meant to
Isn't
be.
it? Providence,
Yeah.
isn't it? Providence.
Yeah, I have 2 good friends actually from
Yeah.
Ghana. Is it 2? Yeah, that I'm still in touch with. But I went to Ghana and I was there maybe just under 3 months.
Oh, wow.
And I came back just, I think, 3 weeks into second year when it started. So I was kind of catching up.
Behind,
and
yeah.
I remember, so when I started second year, Sai was sharing his accommodation with his black male friends. I was sharing it with friends that I'd also made on campus.
Yeah.
Really good
two
good
black
friends.
male friends. All of them all came to our wedding. Yeah. Well, sorry, except
and
for the ones who were
I
international.
shared it with black.
He came to our wedding
Ghanaian.
as well.
He did actually. Did he come to
Yeah,
our
yeah, he was
wedding?
at the wedding. Yeah.
I don't remember.
Spoiler, they got married.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe. But, anyway, I think I'm losing track of my point.
I think
came back.
What I just remember going to Ghana. I do realise I had feelings for Sai then while I was in
You did.
Ghana.
which I didn't know about.
Yeah, but it wasn't a lot. It was like, oh, it was kind of like, do I have feelings? Do I not? So I shared it with one of my friends who I was abroad with. And then anyway, I fast forward, came back. I remember dropping all my stuff at my accommodation and going to university because A1 is like doing lectures. And we have this open studio really big open studio. All of my friends, my course workers that I study with were there.
So that's how architecture studios kind of work. So
You
you're like all in
mixed.
this open space,
Yeah.
like usually working with each other and stuff
So
like
what
that.
year was this?
This is second year.
Second year.
Second year
So
of camp.
2009. Yeah, 2009.
2009.
So you went during the summer of 2009.
I went
Yeah.
through the summer.
Gotcha.
It ate into my first few weeks of second year, but it was
Yeah.
fine, nothing major.
Yeah.
So yeah, a little bit of catch up. But yeah, I remember dumping my stuff at the accommodation, going to uni because A1 was like, I think it was like midday.
Yeah, it
so
was, it
lectures
was.
was finished, people
remember
just
this
tying
very
things out,
vividly.
probably getting lunch. And I remember going to the studio. And obviously I went during hot season, so I tanned a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also I changed.
You look good,
because
by the way.
I changed in terms of my appearance. So
Yes.
I used to wear lots
Heavy
of makeup.
Used to.
And I realized when I was really hot in Ghana, I couldn't use it. So I stopped wearing makeup while I was in Ghana. So when I came back, I was like, actually, I don't really want to need to wear the makeup. I don't actually need it. So you've got this tan person not wearing makeup. I'd never wear trainers.
Yeah, she
I
was
then
wearing
wore trainers.
I think you had a braid as well, didn't you? You had like one,
man.
like or a braid, or
Really?
I think you did.
It's all happening.
Remember. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you
But
had
I
like
just
one
look like a
braid.
different
You
version
look-
of me.
Oh my god, everyone was shocked when.
And
you
so
said
I
that.
just
For sure,
remember,
for sure.
I remember going into the studio. I saw Gabs. Gabs was like, "Oh my god, Riz, look at your neck. Even you're tanned all over."
Yeah.
And I was really like hugging people, people being really welcoming, all my friends. And this big meanie across the studio was like, bought his new MacBook, had his new barber, got his headphones, looking suave, had his iPhone, was like over the other side of the studio, and he was like standoffish, like, I don't know you, mate.
Nah,
Like,
okay.
And I was like,
let's give a
I've
little
just
bit.
come back. And by the way, while I was in Ghana, he's changed his number. He told his mum to not give his new number to
Oh, Come on,
me.
wait.
So then,
Da, da, da.
and then his mum actually gave it to me later on because she's like, "You're just being rude. The woman is really nice." So he did that, but like in Ghana, I hardly ever called him. Like, come on, I was busy doing
that's
work.
not true, blood. You phoned me on
was
the
few
red.
times. No, I didn't.
You did, fam. You phoned me on the red.
Listen, you changed your number.
All right, wait, hang on.
Yeah.
There's a reason why. Okay, I didn't just change it because, like, all right. So I forgot. There's a little bit of context actually before we ended the summer, and so after that May. Sorry, I have to rewind quickly.
Yeah.
Riz actually threw a surprise birthday for me. Sorry, I know about time. Yeah,
No,
she
that's
threw
all
a
right.
surprise birthday party for me, my 19th, in my home. And so even then,
And you still changed your number.
I know. This is making me sound even worse.
Yeah,
right?
go
Yeah,
through,
man.
go on,
Right?
finish.
But it's funny, at that time I was also dating another girl. And so
Right,
no,
here we go.
hang
It's
on.
all coming out
I
woodworks
was
now.
dating. Me and Riz were just friends.
Yeah,
and so
exactly.
I was. I'm
Yeah, there's nothing
free to
illegal
leave
She went
to
to
date,
Ghana
yeah.
for you
Yeah.
to understand
Yeah.
your
Exactly.
culture.
And so
Look at
wait,
this.
hang on. So when she went to Ghana,
Yeah.
and so yeah, obviously we built up even more friendship before she went to Ghana in the
Yeah.
summer. But obviously I was also dating another girl, so
Yeah.
this girl was like kind of like
Player.
how can I wasn't even trying to play. Me and Riz were just friends.
Yeah.
It's like, how can you, you know
your
how
house-
you
your
ladies
housemates
get
as
in it. It's
well,
like,
it's
she's your best mate. Yeah, you sure you two are not more than friends and
yeah.
etc.
Oh, this is your girlfriend at the time.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
To be fair, she had room for concern when you were married.
100%, exactly.
She's looking now like I was right.
She's throwing parties. She knows your mum. It's all happening.
Keep going.
So all of this was happening. So obviously when Riz was in Ghana,
Yeah.
like I was trying to keep my distance to an
Yeah,
extent
of
because I
course.
wanted to make
Yeah,
sure
of
that make this
course.
girl like, no, look.
You
there's
tried
no-
to do the right
It's a very
thing.
honourable thing, yeah.
Exactly. And so that was happening. And then not only that, I got a job during the summer. So I was no longer poor Sai. I
You
got
were
some
lit
bread.
Sai.
I got lit. You know what I mean? I was buying clothes. I was buying sneakers.
bought
I
your
bought myself a
MacBook.
new bike. I got a
Where were you
MacBook.
working?
I was working just for. Do you know what it is? Is no one had a job after their first year.
Yes.
So I had
Yeah.
a proper job. Like,
Yeah.
and I was getting paid very well. So especially at the time. So I came back.
Yeah.
I was
Rebranded.
pretty much.
Sai 2.0.
I had a new haircut.
Yeah.
Like before, I had an afro that was like looked a bit unkempt. I had this fade.
Do you know what was
I-
funny? I was in Ghana
Yeah.
thinking, do I like this guy? Do I have feelings? When I came back, when he rebranded himself, I was like, I know the answer now.
So why were you being so distant? Were you seeing a girl?
I was
at the
still
time?
seeing the girl.
Okay,
Like, so
okay.
I stopped seeing the girl. This is September, October. So I stopped seeing that girl at the end of October.
Okay.
But obviously Riz
Why?
had left to go.
Because of Riz?
it just,
it just fizzled
It
out.
wasn't right.
It just
Clearly,
wasn't right. It just went right. Yeah, it just went right.
But okay, so you've now broken up with this girl.
Yeah.
What happened?
Our friend, by that time, so even before I broke up with her, and that was partly the reason why, because she had gone off to another university, right? And our friendship was just developing, getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And not only that, at that point, Riz was also exploring other faiths. Yeah. And so like we would like talk about that more. You know, she would be at our uni house a lot.
But also, she's already thinking, "Oh, do I like him?"
Yeah.
No, you were not there yet.
You were already in there.
Saying that, the moment I realized I kind of felt some type of way about Riz in a nice way is when she hadn't come back yet, and I think it's like the first week or first few weeks of second year. So this is still September, even though I've skipped up to October. And I remember we were sitting in the computer room getting ready to go home on Friday, because I think there was a reason why I started going back in second year. I became one of the London guys, So I had to go back, and I remember sitting in the computer room getting ready, waiting for my coach. And I was thinking to myself, man, even I'm feeling it right now. Like, I really miss this girl, you know? Like, I actually miss her. Even though I went on all phony and like, I don't want to see it. But I felt to myself, I really, really miss this girl. Like, I remember like I was watching films and stuff on Fridays.
It just wasn't the same.
Yeah, I missed her. I like really missed her. So when she came back, like, we were just vibing, just friendship, just kept on growing, just kept on growing, just kept on growing. And then
it's funny. We need to edit some bits out. The next bit would also be edited out.
No, it's just Riz, edit it yourself by not saying it or finding a more thingy way to say it. Okay. But there was an occasion where like we felt some sort of connection to one another, and we just kind of said it as you said, like, oh, it doesn't feel weird. Like we feel an emotional connection to each other.
So did it kind of like naturally happen, or did you kind of like propose the idea of, oh, let's be together?
No, it kind of naturally happened. It was just a bit. It was a bit.
So what was it like?
Yeah,
walking down the street and then holding hands, and it just happened.
No,
but
do you know what? We spent so much time and we enjoyed each other's company that by second year, because we got so used to living with each other, second year we would make up for that time that we'll see each other. Because now we're not living with each other, so we made a bit more effort. Because normally we would see each other.
Yeah, so we'd go out to eat with one another.
So eating became a form of. How do you want to say?
Socializing.
Yeah, socializing with one another.
So I remember we would eat regularly. Like regularly. It would be pizza. Was it Pizza Express?
Yeah.
It'd be the banoffee pie. We'll have banoffee pie for dessert all the time.
We were
religiously. I don't actually like banoffee pie.
Yeah, I know, same here.
As a result, I love banoffee pie.
So do I.
It's one of the top
and then
desserts.
and we just eat all the time and hang out, enjoying company, and then we would. I think the connection, just conversations and things like that, just kept flowing and
felt rich.
Yeah.
So how long did this development stage
months
last? Okay,
it lasted months.
So I would say May 2009 to November 2009.
But that's the friendship. But you know when you
second
both
year, like how
psychologically
exclusive
and emotionally are saying, look, we're not labelled anything at the moment, but I feel so. The individual said to themselves, you know, I recognize I'm feeling this person, but
2 months.
But you haven't actually said it to the person. How long did that period last?
2 months.
2 months. Okay.
So
2 months more or less.
I would say for you, it's probably August to November till November 2009. For me, it was probably, I would say September till November 2009.
Yeah. Just as he broke up with the other girl.
Yeah, pretty much. I think we were just like, this doesn't. So as soon as like we kind of communicated, that was it. We were boyfriend and girlfriend straight away.
Okay, in November, bang.
Yeah,
but we didn't tell anyone. We kept it between us.
Why?
Low.
Yeah. I think we wanted to know what we were. We wanted to establish it.
Yeah.
And obviously we recognized we were in a circle of friends. We're now not friends anymore. We're more than friends.
Exactly.
And we didn't want the outside voices to speak.
I can
get
that.
Yeah.
I can understand, especially when that same group of friends are aware of the history that Sai's had, and then it adds pressure.
Yeah.
No, in the sense that they were privy to your previous relationship, weren't they? So yeah, that in itself. So no, I understand. And
That was the important thing.
yeah.
But the
I
other
think at the
bit that made
beginning-
it was our reason. It made it fun that it was our secret.
Oh yeah.
I was about to ask.
I
How
must
did
say
you-
the mystery does.
How did
it
you
does.
find that experience of being in a secret relationship?
I found it fun. I really enjoyed it.
Really?
It was so
Was it the excitement?
fun.
What was fun about it?
We would just like skive off uni and know where we are. And just like,
yeah.
They've
we'll
both
just go
got
on
dentist
dates. So it's like,
appointments.
yeah, exactly. So,
So you'd have like days out, adventures out, or
stuff
just,
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
So how did your relationship transition? So, you know, obviously now you're dating, you're exclusive, all of that's great. And then so obviously, you know, you're in your second year, so you're going to be completing soon. So how did your relationship transition out of uni? Because you know how sometimes you can get into a relationship while at uni and it's all very same. How did that transition out of that?
So it's quite funny actually, because I think our relationship was so much of a distraction for you, like uni-wise, that you didn't pass second year, innit? Yeah. And so when I was in third year, Riz was in second, repeating
I
second
had to
year.
redo one of
Yeah.
my courses.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, this is when they say boys are distraction. We actually
There's
are.
something to do.
Yeah, there is. So then when I finished uni, Riz was in third year. So it's kind of like she was still connected. So, and by that point, by about, people found that like clocked that the two of us were an item very quickly.
Oh really?
Very quickly.
Oh, wow.
Very quickly.
I think we,
It
I
was
think
so
we let our
bait.
guard.
Yeah.
I think we were on this thing like we don't care anymore if they're gonna know.
okay.
I don't even think so. I
Even
think
that, people pick up on that,
Yeah.
particularly if you're in
Yeah,
a
yeah.
mutual group of
Exactly.
friends.
And
Especially when you hated each other as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Like all of a
When it
sudden you're not
starts from there.
sniping.
Yeah.
Yeah, the love's too real here, guys. Something's going on.
Yeah. It was so bait, man. It's just like, and people prophesized it.
Yeah,
prophesized
yeah,
it before. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like, "Are you sure you two are not a team?"
Yeah.
And I'm like,
But I think
"No."
what was funny, I was in the studio one time, and there's like a bunch of guys, and there's one of Sai's friends now that is, I wouldn't name him, but who's close
well, you guys
friend.
all know because
Oh,
we talked
okay.
about this
Yeah,
event
yeah.
at the wedding.
But I
yeah,
wouldn't
yeah,
name,
yeah.
I wouldn't name it again.
Yeah.
It's not nice. But he made a comment about me.
Like
quite-
tried to make a move. Yeah, he's one of my best friends
but
as well. Which is funny.
he was
At
very
the time, he
offensive.
wasn't.
He was commenting on the way I dressed, and it was very offensive what he said. Basically, I mean, I won't say what it was,
Yeah.
but then Sai was like, "Hold on, you don't speak to her like that." And then he's like, "Oh."
And then he started
I see.
asking guys around, are them two like, what's it? Yeah. And then he was like, yo, to this day, like he'll be like, "Oh, sorry, bro, sorry, like I didn't know. If you remember, even at the wedding, he was like, I didn't know.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So but that was when it just like
just started to
So
escalate.
slowly it was like a fire, just kind of in terms of
Just-
people know it, just kind of spreading.
grew.
It's like, this one friend will know, that friend will know. Then and then after a while, people just like, Sai and Riz are together.
God.
So how
But
did you find that transition though from out of university? Because it's sort of like your student little thing
Bubble,
to
Exactly.
adult relationship. How did that work?
Really hard.
Do you
I think
think?
it was really hard. For me, it's hard because you already had a fun life in London. You had all your friends.
Oh, your mic,
Me, I.
This mic.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. For me, it was not a great experience because I almost, by going back to my hometown, I felt like I was going back on myself.
Right.
Because all the friends that I built up from school, I never kept in touch with. They were very much backwards people. They have different views on life, so I didn't
Yeah.
keep in touch
Yeah.
with them after.
Yeah.
The friends I made at college were white people. No racism to them, but I never had any common interest that I can extend above that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So literally, I only had the only real friends were from university.
Yeah.
So for me, I felt I was going back in myself. And I just remember for me, it was just like I had a summer job. And also the cost of going from Slough to London was really expensive. I couldn't do it. And then I also had to share a room with my siblings. So it was even difficult to even call you at times. A lot of times. It was really difficult.
They're secret
Because I never
calls.
had even like space. I didn't have any space just to make a phone call with you. I had to probably be outdoors somewhere or find a way
Yeah.
and then make a phone call. It was really hard.
I think at one point you converted your garage into like
We converted the shed into an outer home. Yeah,
and I remember after a while it was just too cold, so you couldn't even speak
Yeah.
properly. Yeah, but I think to answer your question as well, like one thing initially, so because we're in Canterbury is a predominantly kind of like, you know, students town
Yeah.
and white kind of town as well. So we weren't really an attention to anyone's eyes. But obviously where I come from East London, you know, and where Riz would come and visit and stuff like that. Then
Yeah.
sorry guys. where we come from, East London Newham and stuff like that, it was like, there's a huge South Asian population there. And so at 18, 19 years old, and you were a little bit older than me, 20 years old, 21, it's just like, like people are staring at us. Like there's people, and I just felt very like self-conscious about that as well. Like, how comes that guy's staring at us? Like, why is he staring at us? Like, etc. So yeah, that was a strange thing to maneuver in terms of transitioning outside.
Definitely.
And then it just kept on, I guess, growing in different ways. So like when the stares of the local community, because that wasn't Riz's community in the sense she didn't grow up there. And as much as like I'm talking about community, like the South Asian community in my local area were not my community either. I didn't really know any South Asian people. That I did know were like my mum's best friends and stuff, like her close friends, and they didn't live in our community. So I didn't feel, but it just felt weird still having the eyes. And then not only that, obviously at that early stage, like where I was working and stuff, I would talk about Riz quite openly. So people would ask a lot of questions like,
okay,
are you sure? Like, what do her parents think? Like, have you ever got in trouble? Or like, do you know the stories about people getting attacked and stuff like that? So like, I was a little bit afraid, but at the same time we were like, come on, like stop talking like that. This ain't happened to me, sort of thing. So
I mean, I think, you know, like it's interesting. We've all kind of experienced issues within like being in mixed relationships and people's stereotypes, and so there's so many, more than any other relationship, there are so many things that can cause, you know, division between the two of you. What do you think is like the fundamental core of your relationship that kept you going, that grounded you to the point where anything else was happening, you kind of came together?
I think the friendship.
Definitely the friendship.
So with the core being the friendship, how was that affected by the external factors such as family or even the community, walking down the street and having these eyes, or the you know, when people tell you, like when someone says to you, oh, what does their family think? And, like what was the impact of that on you and essentially the dynamics between you, or didn't it affect you at all?
It did. It tested us. I mean, this was my first time. I didn't know what to expect. We were trying to maneuver.
When you say first time
relationship.
This is your first relationship.
This is my first relationship, full stop. And it was my first relationship with someone of a different colour and heritage, etc.
It's your first relationship, full stop.
That's cool, man. One and done.
Yeah, that's it. That's what one of our friends said recently. It was like,
go on, sorry.
I think there was a lot of fear
of course,
reflected onto us, and it was a bit too much because we were just maneuvering. We were really early on in our stage in our relationship, so it did affect us because it really put doubt where we didn't have doubt. I mean, I think those fears that people put into us was really unfair, because if I look at it now, why can't things just let it be? We were really early on.
I don't know. I think they're like, you're definitely going to see this different when we have children. Yeah. Because, you know, it's fair. Like people's perception of our relationships only if you're not in the experience of it, it's only going to come out of media. It's only going to come out of examples of what other people have experienced. And a lot of the times people have experienced bad things. You know, they only relate South Asian and black relationship I knew of before I met you at all was one particular family friend of my mum's, and again her parents. So it's the male, the husband who was my mum's colleague. He was Nigerian, and the wife, she was Indian, I believe. Yeah. But she was completely disowned. No one came to the wedding except for maybe one cousin. You know, so these are the experiences that, like, I know everyone's individual, but these are still experiences that people
exactly.
Of course. And sometimes they're coming from a place of care.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
But I think sorry, go on, Sam.
No, go on.
So all I was going to say is that I think something that's really important, though, is that you recognise what's external and what's internal.
Which it sounds like.
I was talking to someone recently who they were in a black and Asian relationship, and she'd gone through all the fight with her parents, and then they've been together for years. And I spoke to her the other day, and she was like, "Oh, we've broken up." And she actually said, without all of the stuff that I was going through with my parents and everything else, I would have realised he wasn't the right person for me a long time ago. So I think it's really important that you realise what's within and what you need to keep external as well.
And it's funny you say that actually, because I remember the first time when DJ, you approached us about, so you've been, because everyone thought I was some veteran. We've
been together so long.
So by the time we were together for about 4 or 5 years, everyone thought, Riz and Sai.
I'm not gonna lie, even I thought that.
Everyone thought Riz and Sai were some veterans. We've been through everything. The first time you approached me, you go, so fam, like, this, I know you're in an Asian and thingy relationship as well, and you know, like the relationship you two, like, how have you guys coped with it? I looked at you straight up and I said, bro, I'll be honest, we were so caught up in ourselves in our relationship, we ain't even dealing with that. You know what I mean? So that was the nature of our relationship. It was hard to really focus about, like to actively focus about what the South Asian black situation. It really was, because we had our own stuff that we had
and
to
you got together so
work
young.
through.
So young.
Mad. You know, do you remember the first time I met you? Do you remember it?
The first time I ever remember meeting you was at where you were performing some poetry. But then that time when you spoke to me, that was at the old when we didn't have a church building. And
I belonged to City Gates at that time.
Okay.
So that must have been like a pub or something like that. That's what you're referring to?
Yes, yeah. This is 2010.
Something like
so exactly. I didn't know you at all. I just remember what you said through that poetry. I was just like, this guy.
Okay, mad. Because it just so happened. So someone else at his church put on, at the church. I didn't go to anything, but it was a cousin of a good friend of mine who put on an event and invited.
To be fair, they were a school friend of mine, so they didn't even go to our church. Like
mad,
consistently,
Because there was that time. The second time must be the second time. Second time I met you, it was like 2011 or something, and I was meeting up with a homie who you went to college with.
Okay.
And we were just like talking and catching up. It was Westfield, so Westfield's kind of new at this point.
Okay.
I always used to see you walking around with Riz. I never saw you as like that always. I never saw you separate ever. So like this is like what I'm 21 at this point.
Yeah.
And I was like, and the friend's like, this is my friend Sai. Oh hi, nice to meet you. Sai. And DJ. Yeah. Anyway, just funny. So you were veterans in my mind.
Okay, so you probably
know you. Yeah,
you thought she was a girl from East, like that. We worked it out. I shipped her in. That's the reason why her parents were looking. They weren't nowhere about.
So when did you get to the point that you guys were like, okay, this is serious. There's
a future.
There's a future. So you understand now that there are external factors, right? But we've leveled the issues here.
Yeah.
Now I think we're ready to.
We were never dating just like for dating's sake. Never from day one.
Yeah.
I remember like, I got in my feelings quite quickly. I told her I love her from very early. Like when I'm not even sure if I knew what love really was. Like. And we were like, "Yo, we're gonna
do this."
Yeah.
Wow.
Like before we even really knew
what this was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like pretty much from day one. Like we were like,
cool.
Yeah.
So when you made that decision, it was collective.
Yeah.
So when you both agreed that, did you guys at that point have any idea what the
No.
What? Oh,
No.
wow.
Okay.
We didn't know what was going to be in the horizon. We knew nothing, the ingredients
Not
to
at
make a relationship.
No.
Any
One
of
take, you're
them.
on your mic so I can hear you.
We
Yeah.
didn't know any ingredients
No.
of what sustains a relationship
No.
or any of that. I just know that to the point when we got together, it was so strategically thought about before we said that to each other.
Yeah.
And by the time we said it, it was like, that was it.
Yeah.
For me, it was like, I'm going to marry this
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Oh,
same.
wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait.
And we
But
were
I
like-
think
talk
that
about
was
that.
mutual.
Yeah.
That
So
was
I was-
mutual.
Like, so when I was like 19 and she was like
Wow.
21,
Yeah.
we were like, I think
It was this unspoken thing.
Yeah.
But
Oh, wow.
our brains
Okay.
thought
Yeah.
we want
Like,
to marry
we're
each
doing
other.
this. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And then wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot more beautiful than it sounds. I think to some of it, it's this weird
No,
persistence.
but I think that's what
I think-
relationships are,
yeah,
aren't they? Like
exactly.
you develop
Yeah,
the intention.
exactly.
It's not always, and I think that's the important thing
Right.
just
Yeah.
throughout relationships is that you both kind of know whether or not it happens or not. You have an idea in terms of the trajectory that you're going in. And of course, there are loads of things that are going to deviate in your your path, but you knew. And that's important.
Even I got to respect you for that, man. You stuck it in.
You both stuck. No, but both of you.
And
what I don't want to do is go into different topics that are going to be episodes later.
I was just about to nudge you.
No. The only reason I asked that question, because I think it is quite important that we've gone through the university stage and all of that, is that we understand that there was a point. That you got to, and you had to acknowledge there's external factors that, do you know what, guys, we're gonna do this together. And the fact that you guys started the journey with that in mind is just remarkable to me. At this point, you built a friendship. I
don't think we really understood. But we were like, there's going to be issues. We're doing it.
We're doing it. It was a commitment in ignorance at the time, but it was a commitment, no less. And it stood the test of time, which is so amazing. And I just want to say, well done, guys. Congratulations.
Kudos to you guys.
Sincerely, this has been a beautiful episode.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing.
I really do appreciate it, man. It was insightful.
Good.
Seriously.
Thank you, guys.
I'm looking forward to getting to know more.
100%. Obviously, we got married, so.
Spoiler alert. We're all now married. Cool. Well, good episodes. I thought it was great. Great to get to know you guys a bit better.
Definitely. It's great to know you.
I feel warm inside now. I feel warm on the other one.
So DJ's feeling warm inside, so that means we need to go. What do you say? Like, subscribe, share.
Yes, all that good stuff.
Guys, if you appreciate the content and you want to see more and you just want to just get to know us a bit better, please like, subscribe.
Share.
And share, definitely.
Instagram.
Because what we want to do is build the community. This is our Blasian circle, and we want it to get bigger.
Come on.
So come and join us, man. Please hit us up in the comments below if you've got any suggestions, any feedback, even if you've had a similar experience or not. Please let us know. We want dialogue and to engage.
Or DM us.
So please.
And questions as well. I mean, we'll consider them. Can't promise we'll answer every single one, but we'll consider them.
Definitely. Sure. Lovely.
All right, guys. Until next time.
See you later.
Bye-bye.